Hey there, today we are going to complete Home Connection page 15 and 16 titled More Expressions and Equations. Put your name and number up at the top, please. And number 1, write a numerical expression that includes grouping symbols. So I have to write an expression. Grouping symbols means parentheses. To find 73 times 9, I find 73 times 10 and remove one group of 73. I want you to go ahead and tell me how you would show that as an equation or expression, please. So pause the video and write that down. All right, letter B. To find the volume of a box that has an 18 by 25 base. So remember, when we're finding volume, we have this part right here, which is the base, and it has 12 layers. The last blank is for how many layers or how tall it is. I multiply the area of the base times the height. So where would I plug in these numbers in this equation? Go ahead and do that. Pause the video if you need to, and then you can move ahead to number 2. All right, number 2 says write and solve an equation to represent each situation. So now we're going to start solving these equations. So to find 23 times 8, I double and half. So when looking at these numbers, my original problem is 23 times 8. I'm going to double one of the numbers and half the other. Which one would you want to double and which one would you want to half? Now you're going to want to double 23 because cutting it in half is going to give you a fraction or a decimal point. So let's double 23. When we double 23, we get 46. And when we half 8, we get 4. Could I double and half again? I sure could. Let's double 46. When I double 46, I'm thinking 46 plus 46. Go ahead and add those together. Good, I get 92. And I'm going to half 4 to get 2. So my new problem is 92 times 2. I can do that one pretty easy and pretty quick. 92 times 2 is the same as 92 plus 92. Go ahead and solve that and then circle your answer and move ahead to letter B. Letter B, to find 24 times 17, I multiply 20 times 17 and add it to 4 times 17. Okay, let's start with 20 times 17 first. They're multiplied. I'll put that in parentheses. And add it to 4 times 17. So here's my 4 times 17. Okay, so that's my new problem. Let's go ahead and solve these now. 20 times 17. First, I'm going to think, what's 2 times 17? That's the same as 17 plus 17. Go ahead and solve. 34. And then I attach 1 0 because it's 10 times as big as that. So I get 340. My next one, I need to take 4 times 17. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do my doubling and halving strategy. I'm going to do doubling and halving. Okay? So I'm going to double 17 because I know that. That's 34. And I'm going to half 4. Gets me to 2. So now 2 times 34. Oh, that's easy. 2 times 34 is 68. So my new problem is 340 plus 68. Go ahead and add those. When you get your answer, circle it and move on to number 3. All right, number 3 is asking for true or false, so you don't even have to solve. These are the original problems. These are the students' thinking strategies. Did they think of them correctly? It's true or false. So we have 12 times 17. It looks like this student halved this number and doubled this number. Did they do that correctly? True or false? Go ahead and mark your answer. Letter B, 99 times 75, and this is how the student thought of it. They thought of 100 times 75, and then they subtracted 1. Did the student think of that correctly? True or false? Write down your answer. Okay, and letter C, to find the volume of a box, and I'm going to quickly sketch out a box so we can visualize this. I can multiply the length times the width. This would be length, this would be width. Is that how you find the volume, or how much fits in there? How many cubes fit in there? True or false? Mark down your answer. All right, and let's go down to number 4. Evaluate each expression. Evaluate means to solve. So we have 7 times 8 times 9. To solve this, remember, we can do these in any order that we want because they're all multiplying. I think I'm going to stick with this order though. I'm going to solve 7 times 8 first, and I get 56. So I'm left with 56 times 9. What's a thinking strategy we can use for problems that are times 9? Yeah, we can think of 56 times 10 and then remove one group of 56. So what is 56 times 10? 56 times 1 is 56. Add a 0 or attach a 0. Minus 1 times 56 is 56. So my problem is 560 minus 56. Start with 0 minus 6. Can I do that? No, I can't. So I come over here, take 10 away from the 60. So I now have 50, and give 10 to this one. So I now have 10. Now I can do 10 minus 6, which is 4. 5 minus 5 is 0. 500 minus nothing is 500. My answer is 504. Go ahead and circle it. Next one. These this problem does have an addition sign, so I can't just go in any order. Whenever you have a number right next to parentheses, that means multiplying. We haven't really talked too much about that yet, but do you see how this 3 is right next to this? That means you can almost imagine there's a little multiplication symbol in between. Okay, so I'm actually going to start with over here. I'm going to almost imagine that this equation is over on this side and it's by itself because these are all multiplying over here. So I'm going to treat these like they belong together. I'm actually going to take 2 times 5 first and get 10. Then I'm going to take 10 times this 5 right here and I get 50. So I've just solved this part right here with a 50. I keep my plus symbol. Next, I'm going to solve, I think I'm going to still stick with solving 4 times 4 first, and I get 16. So now I need to take 3 times 16. Well, my 3 strategy is, when I think of 3s, I first double the number and then add one more group. So I'm going to double 16, and I get 32. And then I'm going to add one more group of 16. So I have 1, 2, 3 groups I put together. And I get 48. So my new problem is 50 plus 48. Go ahead and solve and circle your answer. The next one, 100 times 67 minus 1 times 67. We know how to do these problems pretty easily. 100 times 67, first I think 1 times 67 is 670. And then I attach, 1 times 67 is 67, I attach 2 zeros. Here's 1 0, here's 2 zeros. Then I need to subtract one group of 67. So my problem is 6,700 minus 67. I'm going to actually treat this as if I'm thinking of a number line. So I'm going to have 6,700 right here, and I'm first going to jump back 60. When I jump back 60, what does that bring me to? 6,640. And then I need to jump back 7 more. What does that bring me to? 6,633. And that's my answer. Circle it so it's easy to see. Okay, my last one, 98 times 47 plus 2 times 47. So I can't just move these around in any order because there's a plus sign in there. I'm going to start with this problem right here. Instead of thinking 98 times 47, I'm going to think of 100 times 47. And then I'm going to subtract 2 groups of 47 because I went over by 2 groups. Okay, so 100 times 47 is 4,700. Then I'm going to subtract 2 groups of 47. But kids, I want you to look at something really interesting. When I subtract 2 groups of 47, I'm going to get an answer. But then look, I add 2 groups right back to it. So it's almost like it cancels it out. One more time, I have this number so far, and I still have to subtract 2 groups of 47. But then after I get that answer, I'm going to add 2 groups of 47 right back to it. So it's like these two right here cancel each other out because one I'm adding 2 groups, the second one I'm subtracting 2 groups. So this right here is my answer. Kind of a tricky little problem there. All right, flip it to the back side, guys. Number 5, how many 1 by 1 cubes are in the following rectangular prisms? Write and solve equations to show. So we have to write and solve equations. So we need an equation for the number of cubes here. So let's find the dimensions. So count how many going this way and record it. Count how many this way. And then count how many layers. So my base is a 7 by 3 base. This is my base. My height is 4 layers tall. That's my equation. Now I need to solve it. So let's stick with 7 times 3 first. What's 7 times 3? 21. So I still have 21 times 4. Anything times 4, remember I can double a double. So first I'm going to double 21. I get 42, and then I need to double that. So what's 42 doubled? 84. Go ahead and circle it. Okay, the next one. Oh, they give us the dimensions already. That's handy. So let's write our equation. What's our base? Oh, sorry about that, guys. It means I sat in the room too long that the lights went out. Okay, we're back on. It's tricky to do math in the dark. All right, so what's my base? I have a 4 by 5 base. What's my height? 6. I have a 4 by 5 by 6 prism here. Now I got to go ahead and solve. I like this one because 4 times 5 is 20. So now my problem is 20 times 6. That's easy. 2 times 6 is, and I attach a 0, and I'm going to circle it. All right. Last problem other than the challenge. A box holds 125 balls. I'm going to put a box around that. Each layer has 25. How many layers does the box have? Show your work. Okay, so Here's my prism. Quick sketch it out for you. They're saying that the whole thing holds 125. Each layer, and let's imagine that this is my bottom layer. This bottom layer holds 25. So how many layers are there? How many 25s equal 125? So I have each layer of 25. How many layers are there to equal 125? I love multiplying by 25 because you know me, I like to think of quarters. How many quarters does it take to equal $1.25 or 125 cents? 4 quarters equals $1 or 100. Yeah, it's 5 quarters, and I'm going to circle it. All right, the challenge is a lot like number 6, except for it uses some trickier numbers. Please feel free to attempt it if you like a challenge and you like to grow your mind a little bit. Make sure when you bring this back to school that your name and number on the top and you put it in the math basket. Please, if you have any questions and want me to explain a problem one more time, just bring it up to me right away in the morning and I can go over it with you. Thanks, guys.